full moon in Cancer that's happening on Saturday, January 23rd at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. So, for the most part on Saturday, 23rd, we'll be experiencing this full moon, and it's really a time to unite the sun and the moon, or to harmonize the energy of the sun and the moon. The sun has been in Capricorn. Capricorn is a sign of practical, wisdom through facing the hardships in life and facing the, a theme of endings and limitations, and really getting a reverence for the passage of time. When the sun is in Capricorn, it's in the winter, and it's a little bit colder, and there's these kinds of things that go on. So opposite that is the moon in Cancer, the full moon in Cancer, which brings a sensitivity and a nurturing to that cold sort of Capricorn nature. And the coldness of Capricorn is it's not a judgment to say that it's cold. Cold is necessary. It's cool, and it's very pure, and it has a quality of sort of timelessness and silence and stillness and peace. And that's the real beauty of this time of the year, when we're really compelled to go inward. In the summertime, or the opposite time of the year, it's very external. There's light and there's activity. From the fall and the winter are really times when we're supposed to go inward. And because we don't really like to go inward often, going inward makes us feel sad and depressed, because we have to face our own heart, and it can be kind of depressing and kind of make us feel sad, because there aren't others to generate attention and light for us. So if we can generate our own attention and our own intention, literally intention, and go inward, this time of the year can be some of the most beautiful and powerful, especially for your personal growth. And this is shown by the sun going through Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius. So this full moon in Cancer is to bring sensitivity and that kind of emotional depth and feeling into the Capricorn area. So again, if we're overcome by the coldness and the moodiness of the season, then this could be a very welcome sort of change that really can reconnect us with something that's more nurturing, of course, externally with others, but also internally. So it's a time to really connect with your heart and go deeper into the heart, not just staying on the surface of the emotions. We usually experience the heart through the emotions, through trying to be happy, trying to enjoy life and be happy, and when it doesn't work out, we have this emotion that feels bad. So we keep trying to gravitate toward things that feel good and avoid things that feel bad, and this generates a lot of emotions. So the real power and promise of the full moon in Cancer is we can sink into the truth of the heart, into the depth of the heart, which is deeper than just the surface of the ocean and deeper than the surface of the water. So there are two main sources of strength with this full moon. One is the moon is in Cancer, which is its own sign. So the moon rules Cancer. And two, the moon is very bright, which is another really, important strength of the moon. When the moon is bright, it's very solid and stable. So this is really the most auspicious full moon, except for when the full moon is in Taurus. But this one is even, more so to some extent, because the moon rules Cancer, which it's full in its own sign, in its sign of feeling. In the sign of feeling, the moon is full. But we can also be full of our emotions and full of our story. The moon is what generates that story and generates that feeling. So try to sink into the depth of feeling rather than ride on the waves of emotion, and there may be some real surprises awaiting for you the next couple days leading up to this full moon in Cancer. So in addition to that being in Cancer, it's also, as I said, in the nakshatra of Pushya. Pushya is literally ruled by the breasts. It's the part of Cancer that's literally related to the breasts. And it's ruled by the guy called Brihaspati. And Brihaspati was the Vedic priest. And his wife fell in love with Chandra, the moon god, his wife Tara, and had a baby, had a child, and became pregnant. Well, became pregnant and had a child after the affair, and the child was Buddha, or Mercury. And so Buddha, the child of Jupiter's wife and Chandra, was raised by Brihaspati, was raised by the old Vedic priest and the moon and his wife. So this is a story about how the intellect, or the buddhi, because that's what Mercury is, Buddha rules the buddhi, which is the intellect, is born from the heart and wisdom at the same time. So the primordial wisdom and the heart itself is what produces the buddhi, or the intellect. So we're supposed to use our intellect to understand the world. And this nakshatra has to do with that kind of nurturing. Because even though Buddha was not Brihaspati's child, Brihaspati still raised Buddha and did the best that he could do to selflessly nurture and raise the child. There was some tension later when he grew up, and it's the tension between Mercury and Jupiter, but that's for another time. But this nakshatra of Pushya literally is about the breasts and the teats, like the teats of a cow or the teats of a woman suckling a child. Just giving selfless love. And that's the highest quality of Cancer. And it's opposite the rational, practical concerns of Capricorn, where we don't have, where we're careful of being sentimental, where we try to negate that sort of sentiment and that sort of feeling. Capricorn is where we just want to look at things rationally and not examine things based on sentiment and feeling. So again, harmonizing those two poles of existence is what this full moon is about. So there's enormous capacity for solitude and introspection and reverence for the passage of time, and also connecting that otherworldly thing with the very worldly feeling and emotion, and taking that emotion deeper than just the surface. And a few other important things we have. We have Mars still in Libra, which is bringing some intensity around others and our relations. And Saturn is still in Scorpio. They're about to join in Scorpio, which is still showing how we are sort of trying to manage and control certain deeper fears. We should get ready for Mars to join Saturn and Scorpio at the end of February, and that's going to kind of blow that area up a little bit and get us to, go into that deep, those deep vulnerabilities. But right now, Saturn is still sort of trying to control that area of life. And we have Mercury retrograde and Venus are in Sagittarius. So it's a lot of creative inspiration and, the desire to create in a larger way. Especially, both Mercury and Venus are creative as it relates to writing and art and beauty. In Sagittarius, we can really create something of, that inspires us and that may inspire the world. We may also be feeling a little confused. There's some confusion around those things as well, because the kind of exaggerated otherworldly quality tends to I say exaggerated and otherworldly because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter and has a very high purpose and high goal, and Venus and Mercury are about people and communication. So we may find some, lacking of detail and precision in our personal relations right now as well. Plus Mercury is still retrograde. This is sort of the backdrop of that. And just, maybe noticing some romantic disappointments a little bit with Venus in Sagittarius. Noticing the high standards that we're looking for that aren't really able to be fulfilled. And speaking of that, we have very close Jupiter-Rahu conjunction in Leo, exact right now, and it's going to be exact for a while. And this Jupiter-Rahu in Leo is, shown how we've been reassessing and reevaluating what inspires us and our teachings and our teachers and our leaders and those philosophies that we're looking to lead us. A lot of change in those things. We've seen some very inspiring figures, especially in the entertainment business, die, with David Bowie, and then we had Glenn Frey of the Eagles die, a few other notable actors and other people in entertainment. They're very Jupiterian figures because they're leaders and people that inspire us. We've also seen quite a bit of changing fortune and some real topsy-turvy in the political realm, like in U.S. politics, with Bernie Sanders suddenly becoming more popular and there being more contentiousness. And we also saw a big change in the Iran deal, having that agreement become actualized, and it was a big shift for the world. I did a recent video on that. The last time it happened was an exact Jupiter-Rahu conjunction in Leo in 1979. That's when the hostage crisis happened, which really set off this whole new relationship that we have with Iran. Exact Jupiter-Rahu conjunction now. In the exact Jupiter-Rahu conjunction, we have the ratification of this agreement, or its implementation and the lifting of sanctions and all that. So a lot of change and transformation in the world, a lot of that going on, which is a backdrop, and which can be making us feel kind of insecure and make us feel kind of threatened and a little worried, which is that Sun in Capricorn. So this full moon is a time to reconnect with the heart, to go deeper than just the emotions and the stress and fear and worry, and feel that source of selfless love that is always flowing through the nakshatra of Pushya. If you want to hear how this will affect your sign, you can do that for only 1 penny. I talk about all 12 signs and how you will experience this full moon in Cancer. It's different for all signs. So you can get 2 weeks of forecasts, and that includes the forecast, this full moon forecast for your sign, and a forecast every day for just 1 penny, and then you can stay as a member if you want after that. So anyway, I hope things are going well.